appreciate you guys getting on here. Obviously, I say this every year. Signing day's a exciting day for your program, and but none more exciting than for the players, right? You take yourself back to being in high school, and it's a special day for a lot of high school players around the country, and it's exciting for not only them but their families, coaches, a lot of the people that help them get there. A lot of dreams come true today for kids around the country, and we're excited about the class that we've added. Obviously, signing day has changed over the year with the calendar and this date changes. There's a couple signing days, and then obviously, so we'll continue to recruit and sign some guys. But when you think about especially guys that you offer early, and you have a group of guys committed to you, all of these guys really committed for a while. And so we're excited about them. They become the pillars of your class. And as we've seen over the years, like these guys that we've signed out of high schools, I think, obviously transfer portal and all of these things get a lot of attention now, but it's fun to watch the guys that come into your program as young freshmen. And a lot of them played for us this year. They did the year before, and then watching their progression as a coach, it's rewarding, fun, reminds you of just the development of this game. And so they're in the young stages of their career. We obviously sought them out and recruited them for a reason, because we feel like they're gonna come and be a part of our program and make our program better, while we're recruiting them. And I think that this has held true, and people a part of the program and people inside the building and in the locker room, like getting to know them and finding out what type of person that we're bringing here to campus, of being a good student athlete still matters. What type of person they're going to be in the community, and making sure that there's a fit on both sides. There's a lot of really, really good football players out there. There's a lot of good highlight videos, but as I've found over my decade of being here, like, what's inside of them matters just as much, probably more, right? Because you're going to have to come here. It's going to be a lot of hard work, and there's a developmental piece. And the only way to do that is through overcoming adversity, putting your head down and working. And you obviously, every high school kid, you have to, project of what they can become. They're going to get older. I always say you usually get better with the more birthdays that you have, and they got to have what's inside of them to get to that point. And we feel like with this class, these guys have what it takes to go do that. So um, I'll run through each guy here quickly, and then answer any questions that you have, and take any other questions that you guys might have just with anything Saluki football. So we'll just go through alphabetical order here, the list that they've got me. Josh Bolden, Davidson Academy in Nashville, Tennessee, receiver. You know, um, seeing him in person is such a huge deal. Obviously, with him, and Saluki fans will know. I mean, this is AJ Quinn's high school, and AJ Quinn's dad's the head coach, and so you get to know these guys. And Josh is a phenomenal young man. Came to camp and was excellent here. And then we continue to watch his senior tape, and just finding out about him in the school, and what he means to that school, and know that he's going to come here and do the same thing. So really good football player. Has a lot of attributes of, he's a smaller as far as his height goes, but he's a playmaker. We've watched him in person. And I think for me, that's the biggest thing, is like, can you get your eyes on them and see it in person, of them running around and working out. And then obviously with AJ and what he's meant to the program, and know what he comes from with his dad and the way that they run their program there. You're not going to miss on the character of a guy like that. So we're excited to have Josh and his family um, part of this signing period. Dakari Farley, you know, is a kid that we watched, now is at Creekside High School, still playing, has a chance to go win a state championship. When we, especially with the new scheme on defense, moving to more of a four down, looking for an athletic piece that can play, Sam linebacker out to the field, kind of that hybrid type piece that has a physicality about himself. Like, Dakari was a kid that we offered um, really back in after spring recruiting going into the summer. And so we're excited about him and, the versatility that he can bring to the defensive side of the ball. He's a really, really good football player. And so we're excited. Some of these guys haven't been on their official visit yet. Every school does it a little bit different, but we're excited to get all these guys up here for a big weekend in January to really show their families and them just get them up here for a basketball game, full weekend. It'll be exciting to get him up here and excited to watch him finish out his high school season too. We got several guys here on this list that are competing for state championships, which is important as well. They're used to winning. One of them is Randy Flint. Nixa High School. Um, is got us a chance to win the Missouri State Championship this year. And so, you know, Coach Moore, our corners coach, this is a kid that he's been high on for a really long time, and has recruited and known about for a while. And so, we offered him after watching some senior tape. We obviously have, Jaden McCaster, his teammate at Nixa, running back in this class as well. So during our bye week, was able to get over and watch him in person in a game, and just proved why we wanted to go get him. Obviously, he has some really good track times and the speed, and phenomenal kid. When he got up here for a game day visit, just sitting down in my office with his family, on the phone, you can just tell that he's exactly what we're looking for as far as the type of person and the type of kid that's going to come here and do everything that I said at the beginning of this press conference, as far as like putting his head down and working. Obviously, these guys from Nixa um, are used to a program that has high standards and expect to win, do things the right way, are used to an off-season program, all the things. And so we're excited to add, Randy, really his entire family here. Um, Jaden Hudgens, same thing. Like, for our whole staff, like recruiting and signing players is, everybody has a hand in it, so, through the whole process and the vetting out, but obviously your position coach and your area recruiting coach, and then trickling all the way up to the evaluation and to make an offer. But when you see kids that pop off to you in a camp, and then you start doing the digging, and Jaden was that way, seeing him in camp. Um, Coach Davis, D-line coach, came back and really has a high standard on who he likes. There's times that I'll be like, what about this kid? And it's like, yeah, I don't know. I saw him in camp and I don't know. And so when there was an excitement of seeing him compete, and then when you get to know him and checking the boxes. So obviously the defensive line is a huge part of where we need to go and how you get there. And when you lose a lot of guys, but you want to bring in great high school prospects at that position where they can settle in and develop. And we've done that over the years, and Jaden will be a big part of doing that. Jaden McCaster, running back, special kid. I don't know if you're going to find anybody with you know better stat line, and has a chance to go and win back-to-back state champions chips at two different high schools. Obviously, this year playing at Nixa, like we talked about their program, but just an elite guy. Smaller in stature, as far as his height goes, but you've seen a lot of successful guys like him, Romir Elliott, that came here from Indiana. Saluki fans will remember him, and had a similar type high school experience, state champion, tons of yards, over 2,000 yards. And I think he's got 35 touchdowns this season. And so we're excited to watch those two guys go compete to win a state championship. And he's a guy that we brought up here in the summertime with his mom, phenomenal family as well. And just excited that he's been committed to us for a long time now, and now you get to the day that we get to finally talk about him and make him official. So we're excited about adding Jaden to the running back room. Caillou Robinson, same thing. Cincinnati, Ohio. Coach saw him at camp, got him and his family over here in the summertime. We do a little barbecue for some of our, and it's a full day of getting families over here in the summertime, and came up here and has been committed, and just excited about his explosion and his twitch, and just the physicality and the mentality that he brings. He's a unique kid. Enjoy talking to him. And so just excited about the group that we're adding to the D line room. They really check all the boxes on how we go about recruiting them. None of these guys are late ads or somebody that we haven't done a ton of homework on. They're guys that we've vetted out and got to meet their families, and got up here for game day visits, and making sure that both sides check off the boxes that this is going to be a good, great fit. Dane Schmidt was really the first offer in this class, and first commitment. Came over here. Coach Davis had a previous relationship with coaching his brother, so knowing his family, knowing his mom, knowing Dane, and then coming over, he really just fits of what we've been able to do, like with that running back position. Tough, hard nosed, versatile. Um, he's a football player, right? He's a little bit different size and than like an AJ Quinn and Lim Walsh, but those guys make your team better. He's versatile, but he's a tough football player that we wanted to add to the program. I think he's made up of the right stuff. You can't project out exactly what is going to be said, but I think that probably once he gets here in the summertime and we're doing our end of the summer reviews on how the freshmen are doing, it's going to be the strength staffs, just like Dane puts his head down and he works. He's tough. He does everything you ask him to do, and he's going to become a really, really good um, college football player. Jack Webb, really our um, most local kid here, Southern Illinois kid from Mount Carmel. Obviously, we've had a lot of Mount Carmel kids that have come and played here. Great program. Obviously, I tell them, I mean, like my mom is from Mount Carmel, and so cousins and uncles and everybody that grew up, my grandparents, from Mount Carmel. So I've always had a tie to Mount Carmel, and so. Jack's a physical, really big kid that has a lot of upside to get in here and get in the weight room. Coach Griff does an outstanding job. Obviously, Coach Griff's been here for all 10, now 11 signing days here. So he knows what he wants, the type of person that he wants to coach, and Jack fits that. And so we're excited to number one add a kid from Mount Carmel and get Jack here as a kid that's been here quite a few times. And so we're excited about adding Jack. Jonah Weary from Kansas City, probably you know thought that he would be tough to get, and he was. Came over here. He's been over a couple times. Uh, Phenomenal, family. His mom, bring a smile to your face, energetic, great. I think like we've added some good tailgaters and family additions to the Saluki family as well, which is super important for the culture of um, of your team. When you look back on that, like with the Reeves brothers leaving and what their family, it means a lot. Even that last game, when you go to Illinois State and you get off the bus and you see all the families there greeting you and locked in, like it's just not the players, it's everybody. And I know that with this class too, there's going to be a lot of parents that are added to that, and we're excited about that. Jonah is a heck of a player, number one, heck of a person. I told him that when he sat down here in the summertime, like really, we wouldn't be recruiting you if we didn't think you were a phenomenal football player. But really, what everybody in that school says about you as a person, that's the kind of person that I want on the team. And Jonah has all of that. So we're excited about getting Jonah over here. Just has a ahead of him on and off the field. And then Cutler, offensive line. Obviously, Coach Clark does a great job of recruiting these guys. Has a great relationship with his head coach. Same thing. Saw him compete in camp. And sometimes like usually at these camps that you go to, the O line and D line, the only ones that got pads on, right? It's in the middle of the summertime. It's hot, and you can really find out, who wants to go compete and who wants to get up in the front of the line and who has that ability. Offensive linemen, you'll see a few of them around the country, as far as freshman O lineman that play. And that's not it's not a 0%, but I would say, it's in the 90% that you're going to redshirt. And so do you have the mentality that you can come in here and put in a bunch of work and project out what I'm going to be and, just keep getting better? And so that's what you look for in offensive linemen, right? Do they have the frame, and do they have the commitment and what's between the ears and what's inside that chest to become, and you can will yourself to go be a really good offensive lineman. And so with Cutler, that's what we feel like we got. So like I said, really good class for us. I'm excited about the type of people that we're adding to the class. We'll continue to recruit. Obviously, with the changing of your roster and knowing how many spots you have to fill, sometimes you have to be a little bit patient. And so we'll continue to recruit. We'll obviously be in the transfer market here and have some more announcements to make. And then obviously we'll take it all the way through February to the second signing day when we'll have another one of these. And then once you get to that point, you've got your team here with the one portal window. So big day for us, exciting day, not just but a fun day this morning, just hanging out with the staff and getting these guys inked in and hanging out with the staff, because there's been a lot of miles put on and a lot of phone conversations and a lot of meetings to get these guys here. So I'm proud of those guys, excited to be their coach and them to say yes to coming here, and excited to get them a part of our culture here in the summertime.
Thank you, Coach. Let's go ahead with questions now. Bucky, do you want to start us off?
Yes. Good morning, Nick. How you doing?
What's up, Bucky? Man, good to see you.
Good to be here. I know I realize that a lot of us ask these same questions at this time every year when we're doing these Zoom calls, press conferences, whatever. But where do you feel like your team got stronger today with this group of players? And is there any one particular area you're looking to beef up when you do this again in a couple of months with the portal or whatever else happens to come in?
Yeah, I think good question, good way to phrase it. I think anybody, for high school recruiting, obviously different positions here that we're recruiting. So you're looking to just add to your team, and through the freshmen, these are, like I said, like the building blocks of your program that you're going to bring in and develop. Some of them will play for us this year, like they did last year, whether that's on special teams or finding an opportunity out there on the field. But they've got to be who you have a long vision for. If we're bringing in transfers that have 1 year, that's a different type of conversation that we're having than a 18-year-old or 17-year-old in some cases with this, that still have just the future of their um, all ahead of them, multiple years. And so you're looking at, like, how can this kid develop within your program? And so that's with all of these guys. So I don't know if it's like, hey, how do we address that right now? We still got to get these guys on campus. We got to get them here this summer. We've got to learn them. We learn about them as much as we can, but that's not hands-on. Like when they get here in the summertime and it's every day, it's all day, seeing how they adapt to school and the workouts and time management. And that's our job to develop them as young men. And so it's taking guys that you can see developing through your program for a long time. And so that's what we try to do. And so I think, with all of these guys at all their positions, then we wouldn't be offering them a scholarship if we didn't think that we have a vision for them one day being out there on the field and making an impact on our team.
Okay, and I kind of realized this is a little bit off topic, but I just kind of crossed my mind. Was there anything from this weekend in the first round of the FCS playoffs that really surprised you?
I mean, no, not really. I mean, obviously you were the Youngstown game, was probably the one that everybody, talks about, was watching that game. Phil, you know, I'm sure they're sick about that. I was hoping that the league would go 5-0 and, and I still think, I mean, yeah, we have 5 teams left in the playoffs. I think, and they all could win this week. I know one of them, 2 of them play each other. So one will be eliminated, but it's a phenomenal league. It's not, when you go like who was the best, deepest conference in the country, I don't think it's like a question. And so um, excited to watch how it plays out this year, but I wouldn't say there's many surprises out there.
And I've got one more I wanted to ask for related to recruiting, and we've talked about this before too. But you being a former college basketball player, and I remember we were talking about Javon Williams a few years ago. You watched him play in a sectional tournament game against East St. Louis and saw just what he did against 2 Division I guys that night. How much do you look at what guys do in other sports and other walks of life in terms of their competitive fire that maybe helps influence your decision on recruiting a guy?
Yeah, I mean, it might be the one of the most important boxes you want to check. I mean, when you hear about like that, nothing fires me up more than when you find guys that do all kinds of things, and do them well. And then, I love watching the guys that might be playing basketball right now that might not be the star on the basketball team, but it's like I want to go compete with my buddies, and I know I can be a good player, but I'm going to be a good teammate. I'm going to do what the coach tells me to do. If he needs me to go rebound and play defense, then I'm gonna go compete and rebound and play defense and do everything right and practice hard. And then, like then when they get here, that's ingrained in them no matter what, or it's in track and I'm competing, like I want to win. And so it doesn't matter what it is. It could also be, like finding out about Josh Bolden and Jonah and things that they're doing in the school and getting, I know Josh got voted like whatever, Mr. Davidson at his high school, so that means he's not just, it might not be a competitive sports competition, but it's like I'm showing up, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, and I'm making an impact on people, and it matters to me. Um, Dual sport doesn't mean you have to do that, and there's not, you know, case studies out there for who's playing well in Division 1. But I would say most coaches like that's something that we're always going to ask. And then if you don't, what's the reason why? Or hopefully when they were in eighth grade they were playing them all. Like it just because, like, man, football is only in for a short amount of time. What are you doing the rest of the time? Like usually when you're a kid, you want to be out there competing. And if you're a real competitor, like I want whatever's in season, I want to go compete.
Thanks, Nick.
Appreciate it, Bucky. Matt, if you have some questions, you can go ahead.
Yeah, I got just one question about Joshua Bolden, coach. You mentioned, him being a little bit on the smaller side at 5'8" for a wide receiver. And then obviously you're projecting into the unknown here a little bit, but how do you see him growing and developing once you get him on campus and practicing and everything as he matches up against guys at the college level, corners and safeties who are, 6 foot plus?
Yeah, I think at the receiver position, you look at the guy that led us in catches this year. Josh is bigger than VD. I think you have a when you're um, if you like we like kind of similar going back to but like do you have a competitiveness about you? Like do you have a little like grit? I mean, you'll watch a lot of college football this year, or I mean, this weekend in championship games. There's going to be a lot of guys that touch the ball that aren't the biggest guys out there, right? Are they strong? Do they have the body stature? Can they break tackles? Can you find different ways to get them the ball in the screen game? Is he a guy that can, really the last 2 years? I mean, Alan Middleton, Vincent Davis. I mean, around here for a long time, DJ Davis. The Cox twins weren't huge guys. So yeah, I think at that position, depending on what type of offense you run, but the slot receivers around the country, when you look at even, Illinois State played a freshman this year. He's not a huge kid, in the slot, and I think he was freshman of the year in our league. And so that's kind of what we look at that position. Now, you can't have three of them out there, or we don't try to. We didn't this year. You kind of have Jathan, that's a 6'4", longer wide receiver, plays kind of a different position at wide receiver. But your slot guys, your return guys, I think they can come in all different shapes and sizes.
Thank you, Matt. Dan Verdin from the Prairie State Pigskin couldn't be here, coach, but he sent in a few questions. The first one's about DJ Williams, and he wanted to ask about the status of DJ regarding next season.
Yeah, I don't think anything's changed since we, talked at the end of the season there at Illinois State. We've got our little end of the year banquet tonight. I'm excited to be around all the guys. There's great communication amongst our entire team. And so nothing's changed. I mean, right now, legally, no one can be in the portal till January 2nd. The only guys that are out there, obviously, you're recruiting some guys that are junior college kids and Division 2 kids. But I think that's a important piece, right, for where the transfer window is for all the country. Um, Players like DJ, like other guys around the country or even on our team, have a second, like last week during Thanksgiving, to not be, they could take a few days for themselves just like anybody would want to, and not have to be thinking about, making an immediate right now decision, right? You have some time to seek some wisdom and some guidance. And with me, I'm in constant communication with DJ. Nobody loves DJ Williams more than me. Besides, I know his mom and his brother, and he's a great family. So listen, we're going to help DJ along the way. He'll be going into his 7th year in college. So this is a young man. He's not a 18-year-old. He's been around, and so you've got to just like anybody will be um, faced to do, and this won't be his only big decision as far as life. The jobs you take and marriage and where you're going to live and all those kind of things, right? So I think it's a good position for DJ to be in. And man, he's got that head on of his shoulders that I would be proud that if he was my son, really um, seeking wisdom and guidance from a lot of different people. He's not one that's swayed easily. He's going to make a sound, mature decision. And we'll do everything we can here, but that doesn't mean I want DJ Williams to be happy in life. I want DJ Williams to seek out and fulfill his dreams. That's our job as a coach for any young man that's here. Um, and no matter where they go in life, like that's what I tell them. Like, I hope that you always look back that, like I do, if somebody impacted me as a coach, I always look at them as coach, right? And they had a huge impact on me. And that's what we try to do with all of our players. And there'll be thousands of people in the transfer portal, not hundreds, but thousands. All right. So, um, you know, when that time comes or DJ's got an announcement to make or whatever, I'm sure all you guys will be the first to know. We'll do everything that we can to um, try to, if this is the place, make that reason why. But right now, it's more of like until he knows, really what he's making a decision against. There's not um, anything to announce or anything.
Dan's second question was, are there any other players that are hoping to get another year of eligibility? And if so, who are those players?
Um, Yeah, I think we've got it's that's kind of a long question. I mean, I would say there's probably thousands of waivers that are at the NCAA right now too. Just that's what college football has created, COVID and guys getting multiple years and his junior college count and does it not, and the Pavia case and the 5 for 5 gets ruled on, not necessarily ruled on, but heard by a judge here in like 10 days. So I mean, it's just constant movement. Lynn Walsh, didn't know if he'd have another year. He has another year. Andrew Bain. Um, and so, but we have like 6 or 7 guys that kind of have a case for would they be able to play again.
Dan's final question was about this year's recruiting class. What traits stand out the most to you?
Well, I think that, you know, I think like you're going to find out a lot more about them when they get here. We wouldn't be signing them if we didn't think they have the traits that meet all the things off the field that are going to allow them to become good football players. If there's somebody out there that you guys put up as fans and they don't have a good highlight video, um, then shame on us. They all are really, really good football players. What allows you to become a good college football player from having a really good high school career is all the things that you got to find out about the person, right? And similar, like I've went through here um, on this press conference of what those things are. So I believe that this class has those things. And now it's our job to make sure that none of those things slip, that we create an environment that we can build upon what we've seen and learned about them as they leave high school to college. Anybody that's listening to this remembers the transition of life from living at home, being in high school. Things are comfortable, things are different, the schedule's different, and everybody adapts to that a little bit different. That's a lot of unknowns. And so it's our job to make sure that we create a, sound, great environment, that these guys can continue to flourish being the people that they currently are.